Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sandbox Saturday stream. I am Alex Flores, aka Kamisasi, joined here by this guy. I don't recognize this guy. Who is this guy? Who are you? How did you get here?
How did I get here? I ask myself that regularly.
This is
Actually,
the Vision X Matting Joseph, my good
thank
friend.
you. Who am I? Who's my name? What year is
Who
it?
am I? Where's not Jackie Chan
What's
when you
up?
need him? Right. Welcome, Duvik over on YouTube, Fabian over on Twitch. We got Play Game for Fun, Lieutenant General, Pepper from Alamea Studios, Biverson Art, Jazz Wolf, J Dog, Garnican, Annan Joyce, Sarah Ashley, Artificial. Who else is here? Usel over on Twitter. Welcome everybody to the Alpha Season 5 Game Jam Award Show. We have a whole bunch of parkour, racing, really blazing fast games to check out today. Hello, Gem, over on YouTube. And we're good. We kind of have like a system here. Those of you who've been with us for a while, you know the drill. We're going to go through this Medium article real quick. I'm going to link it to you in the chat. This is the rules and inspiration for what the Game Jam is, just to kind of get you oriented. So for those of you who've been in the Sandbox, you know that we just completed Alpha Season 5 in partnership with Jurassic World. Pretty cool. Lots of nice looking dinosaurs have entered the game. And we wanted to get some dinosaur-inspired, really jungly, volcano-y, intense parkour and racing games in the space. So we have got about 20 games, exactly 20 games to show you today. 10 honorable mentions and our top 10 winners, all of which are getting some pretty cool prizes, which we're going to read about here in the article real quickly. So whether you're a first-time creator or a seasoned pro, the Alpha Season 5 Game Jam is your opportunity to craft immersive worlds that fuse adrenaline-pumping action with awe-inspiring environments. Whether it's scaling towering cliffs, darting through hidden pathways, or bouncing off crumbling ruins like a seasoned parkour pro, challenge yourself to create an experience that balances the thrill of exploration with the mastery of dynamic movement. And there's all the information about registration. If you didn't register yet, you're way too late. Sorry. This one's over. This is the award show. You'll have to wait for next time, but there will be a next time. Some inspirations are the Lost Jungle, Volcano, amusement parks, and islands. And the theme reveal was social platforming. All of these were encouraged to use the new abilities that we saw released for Alpha Season 5 of flying, double jumping, and air dancing. And think beyond gameplay, it's about crafting a journey. Whether you're guiding players through surreal dreamscapes, unlocking hidden layers of identity, or pushing the boundaries of motion and imagination, the goal is to surprise, inspire, and connect. And I do have to say, as I was editing the video for this, I saw some really cool scenery unlock, some real awe-inspiring, like you go through a doorway and just a whole world opens up. We saw some pretty cool things with these games. So the rules for this jam, it had to be multiplayer. So you're racing against other players, focusing on parkour race with a winner. You can use the social platforming game or multiplayer race template. Those are provided in the no-code Sandbox Game Maker. There are a bunch of templates besides those, but these social platforming and multiplayer race were specifically the ones recommended for this. And use at least one ability from double jump, fly, or air dance. You can use all three if you want. And there were a bunch of libraries in our new dynamic library, aka Asset Kit system that was added to the Sandbox Game Maker version 0.11. Jungle, Volcano, Beach, Arcade, Museum, and Garden were all some. The Jungle, Volcano, Beach, and Arcade were specifically libraries that were enabled. There's also Museum and Garden templates that were in the Game Maker for people to check out. And for the prizes, there is a pool of 100,000 sand, 20 lands, and exclusive catalyst packs. So first place is going to be winning 18,000 sand. All places are winning a 1x1 land. And for first place, they get a gold catalyst pack. Second place is 14,000 sand with a silver catalyst pack. Third place, 10,000 sand with a silver catalyst pack. Fourth place, 8,000 sand with a silver catalyst pack. Fifth place, 6,000 sand with a silver catalyst pack. And 6th through 10th place each get 4,000 sand and a bronze catalyst pack. There's also honorable mentions, each winning 2,000 sand with a 1x1 land. Once Elf Season 5 is over, the best 5 experiences from the Season 5 Game Jam will be automatically part of the Season 5 post UGC event. UGC stands for User Generated Content, for those of you who don't know. A unique chance to get your experience played by our players. This event will include a prize pool accessible for all players who complete the EP objective. So basically a little like season after the season made up of the top 5 winners here. May 17th was supposed to be the awards show. Judging wasn't quite done yet, so we're having it today on the 24th. And I'm not sure when the postseason event is supposed to start, but it should be pretty soon after this. All right. And there's a bunch of other, specific little detailed rules and stuff. Good for you to read through. If you just need a reminder, if you want to see if any of the rules changed, if you're a regular competitor, or if you're interested in getting started, make sure to check out those rules. They do apply for most of the game jams, so it's good to be in the know if you want to participate. Sure, you ready to look at these games?
Alex, I'm ready to look at these games.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you something, Alex, before we get into this. The voting form I didn't have access to this time. We had some other folks do that voting, so I'm cheating off of Panda Pop's notes here today.
Okay.
So, and also I will need you to be my guide for telling me which games I am finding the feedback.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll shout out the title as we get to each one. So, usually Joe is one of the judges for the game jams. Because of scheduling stuff, Panda had to fill in with one of our other fairly regular game jam judges. It's usually Joe and another person from the council is doing the judging, and in this case, 2 of the regulars had to do it because they're all multiplayer games. So we had to make sure that people could play at the same time to judge effectively. So, are you all ready to check out our honorable mentions? We do the honorable mentions in a random order that they're not ranked, the honorable mentions, but we show all of those. And lately we've been doing a more streamlined video system. We used to do like a whole thing with showing the top 10 in a random order, and then some like longer cut trailers basically for the top. It used to be 3 winners, now it's 5 top 5 winners. Now we do the honorable mentions, and then we do 10 through 1 all in order, all one streamlined thing. It's just a little more efficient, especially for editing. Means that I don't have to do as much trying to shuffle them around. You know how much work it is to like shuffle all the video clips around in a random order every single time, so that way people can't guess which is first place. I got tired of it.
Yeah, unless your screen is like a mile this wide, like you just can't. Dragging the thing, you're waiting for it to go all the way.
It was a lot. It was a lot. So this way, it's a faster process for me, and I don't know, it's a little more fun for you, I think. So let's jump into our video here. I'm gonna hide Joe and me. As much as you want to see our wonderful faces, we want you to check out all of these games. Check out all of these games without us in the way. All right, so we're gonna disappear over here. Bye. All right, let's go. Alrighty, folks. Our honorable mentions: Jangle by Experience X Entertainment. Volcano Run by Impossible Dream Studio and Fredenford. Fun Raid by Ajay. Castle of Pain by Bago Games. Jungle Rush by Biagi. Velociraptor Park by one, aka Chowie Suzuki. Egg Pedite by Craft Palm. Durianosaurus by Greater Works Studio. Mesazoic Jump by Tom Voxel. Floor is Lava by Benjamin S. And now for our top 10 in the Alpha Season 5 Game Jam. Number 10, Temple Rush by Arcadia X. Number 9, Jungle Friends by NFT Woojun and Rion. Number 8, Protocol Escape by No Lifer Team. Number 7, Trial of the Black Tide by Pepper. Number 6, Sunset Leap by Marshall17. In 5th place, Rotate Rush by Toby and Kraft. Number 4, Treetop Trails by Anna Joyce. In 3rd place, Jurassic Race by Team Zangdoru. In second place, Cocoa Nuts by Lockle. And in first place, Sandbox Free Runners by Yitzjam. And that was the Alpha Season 5 Game Jam. Great work, everybody. Lots of cool entries there. Let's take a look at the chat real quick. I see Lockle is here in the chat with us. And enjoys Marshall 17. Byverson Art is here also. That's Byverson is I believe our first place winner, right? That's you. Yes, that's SGM Studios. Jazzwolf says congrats to everyone. Yes, that is Byverson Art in the chat there with our first place win. Byverson says my eyes still haven't gotten used to Joseph. He looks like a stranger. Hey, who is this beardless guy?
Yeah.
What's he doing on the Sandbox stream?
I'm a stranger.
All right. Well, we do have an ad starting in about a minute and a half, but we're going to start talking about our first game here. I'm gonna snooze the ad for a little bit.
Snooze that ad.
Yeah. 5 minutes. So we can talk about our first game in our honorable mentions. So now, for those of you who are new to the stream, we break down what the judges' feedback was for each of these games to give them tips. What might have bumped their score up a little bit higher, what we really enjoyed seeing in the games, and just try to give some positive feedback. Over the years, we've seen so much improvements over. We've seen people participate in these game jams for multiple years now, some of them, and seen how that they've improved, and also how the tools have improved, and their ability to use those tools has improved. So it is great to see all of those things. Tom Voxel is also here. It started earlier. I'm late. Just a little bit late, but it's okay. You were in the honorable mentions, Tom. So we're taking a look at those honorable mentions now. Let's see. Let's check out The Floor is Lava. You got that here. I'm going to turn down the volume on it, though. So, Joe, what did our judges have to say about this entry?
All right. So we've got two sets of review text, and one of them is simpler than the other. So I'm going to start with the simpler review block, and then I'm going to go into the more detailed one. The first simple review block says, this is a simple parkour race. It does implement all the Alpha Season 5 abilities. However, the checkpoints are not functional. The second, more complex look at this is the name of the experience made me think that I would need to watch out for lava. There's nice design on some elements of pathing, but they need a little bit of work when it comes to those actual paths. You should look into adding checkpoints. I got hit with the hammer and sent back to the lobby room.
Oh no.
And this would be better if they respawned at a checkpoint area. It looked like there was checkpoint sigils, but those didn't work. So really, for this, it seems like it came down to not enough checkpointing. Whether that be one or two, um, because based on the design, I think they were looking for something just felt a little bit more casual, a little bit more about like, you know, uh, the ease the ease of access to a game should be there, and then the difficulty is in your proficiency in that game. If that makes These are time-based activities or competitive trials.
Yeah, I will say that the designs look great in this. There's all these cool gears and spinny things. That's something that we saw pop up in a lot of these games is using the new rotate behavior in the game maker. So traditionally, it's been a lot of like moving platforms, whether they're going up and down, side to side, diagonally. And now people can make assets turn in a couple different ways, and so we're seeing some much more complex platforming uh, level design elements based on what you see right here with running around on the inside of tubes with holes in them, stuff like that. Some really cool stuff is unlocked by having that rotate behavior. Um, Something to note with those checkpoints is that yeah, when you play a game that involves racing, like like say Mario Kart, you fall off the side of the map. Lakitu's there to bring you back, basically where you fell. So you do lose time, but you don't lose the whole race necessarily, and that can make a huge difference in a game like this. And I do see there is a thing on the ground. It looks kind of like a compass with all these points sticking out. That looks like it is supposed to maybe be a checkpoint. It's important to test those things in multiplayer, not just in the game maker and the editor, because something might work in the editor that when you actually put it on the server with multiplayer, with multiple players running around, it might not behave exactly the way you expected, because multiplayer is a little more complicated to design for. So it is important to check things like the checkpoints, make sure that they're working successfully, because that will save a lot of frustration. This game looked really good. I think it probably would have been up a little bit higher in the rankings had it fully worked as expected.
Yeah.
But looked great. So a lot of these look really really good. All right, now we've got, what did I just click on? Durianosaurus by Greater Work Studio.
All right, let's see. So the Durianosaurus. The simple note here says that it is a great experience with multiple maps to race across, collecting fruit for currency along the way. Pretty simple. It's almost like a synopsis of what you can see in these videos here. The larger notes say your notes for the dinos at the start. You copied the Preradon twice, Preradon, not sure, and didn't provide the raptor information. You collect durians, but the shop asks for gold. So this should be changed to durians if that is the currency. When played with lots of other people, the durians disappear when one person collects, and that vastly reduces how many durians can be collected. And there's a chance to hard lock your player out of the game when they can't afford any items. So make sure to set the durians to be collected by all players, not just the first person who can reach it. Otherwise, it's a nice level design and nice game design.
Yeah, I would say like there's kind of two paths to go on. If you want something to be, again, Mario Kart's a great example of a fun kind of casual, depending on who you're playing with, racing game, and it provides a lot of good examples of how these mechanics should work to set player expectation. And if you have our ad is starting. Hopefully this doesn't get cut off. So if you have a currency that uh gosh, I'm just gonna roll with the ad. Like we're gonna go to the ad break because I don't want what I'm about to say to get cut off and then miss it for everybody. So just bear with us for a second. We'll be right back in like a minute and a half.
Dang.
All right. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Twitch doesn't really like tell me exactly when the ad is starting. It's just like it's starting anytime in the next like minute. And so I didn't want the statement to just get chopped in the middle there for if they're watching.
Yeah.
So when you have a collectible item that people say get points for or currency for in the game, you might want it to be more competitive, so that way when one player collects it, it can't be collected by the other players, and that affects their maximum score. That provides like the thrill of like who can get the most coins, who can get higher on a leaderboard. But if you tie that same currency into purchasing items that you need to have to get to the end of the game, that's when it becomes it starts to feel unfair. If somebody, even if the best player is gathering all the points up, they're the best player, they should be the top on the leaderboard, but their being the best player shouldn't prevent other people from completing the race. So you want to either use a different kind of currency. You could have durians be the leaderboard currency, and then you maybe need to collect some special items, or even just picking up the items and not using a store function to grant the abilities in order to complete the level. It's just tying the two mechanics together just ends up making it feel kind of unfair for some players. So you probably want to separate those things out. I do want to say that running alongside the dinosaurs is kind of cool. It throws me back to being in Chuck E. Cheese with that Jurassic Park ride where you had to like shoot the dinosaurs and the whole seat is like rumbling and there's like dinosaurs running alongside of you. I don't know if anybody else has that memory from being like, I was probably like 8 years old when that came out. No, nobody went to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid. I was the only one with cool parents.
Sorry.
No, my parents never took me to Chuck E. Cheese. It was always somebody else's birthday party, right?
Oh sure, but also didn't go to this.
Oh, Joe didn't have a childhood. He just came out this.
I was just immediately insert age, and that is all. I just came out of the womb and I was like Bitcoin.
That yeah,
macroeconomics.
I wish, right? All right, our next one is for Tom Voxel, who's here in the chat with us. Mesazoic jump. What did the judges got for Tom here?
Mesazoic jump. See, this is where I'm glad that I know how to spell check, because I got to fast find through like dozens of these games. All right, so let's get into it. The short notes here say the first map can be pretty punishing with no checkpoints. I was not aware that we started with the AS5 gloves. Those were the ones that allow you to dance, which could extend your jump range.
Mm-hmm.
Collectibles are a great feature, and it's clear to see how much DNA is on the map. Now, so the Mesozoic jump, I played this. I believe I played it live for you all. And it played well, but I agree there were some things that weren't made like overtly clear um, throughout. Nonetheless, the longer notes here say really cool experience. I think this is fairly solid on gameplay and creativity. However, I think the level design could use some work with pathing and checkpoints. The particular area that was the most troublesome was the swinging vine. And I remember the swinging vine. So there's a section that's sort of like Pitfall, if you're familiar with that ancient game, where a vine, there's a person I believe on the vine that's like, hey, I'll help you get across, and then they end up colliding with you, and it's a whole mess because the vines swing. You have to grab it like a ladder, um, but the vine is doing the rotate function,
I think that's
and that
right
rotate
here.
function, yeah, right here. The rotate function throws you off the vine when it goes too fast. Uh, and you can see they're having difficulty just grabbing the ladder function of the vine itself, or grabbing the vine. I should make it really simple. Uh, the way that I ended up doing it was to jump up to where, ironically, in the later design, the blonde guy who's on the vines, I jumped to where he is. In the former design, he was much lower, which made it more difficult to get across. But the slowing of the vine actually seems to have made that easier on the video than it was when I was playtesting it. So I think he did a good job to make that modification. Um, anyway, let's see. In the tree trunk, you walk across to get to the ladder in the first area. As it is slightly rotated, the player needs to move in a diagonal, which isn't always easy to do. Overall, nice dressing of the experience, and I particularly like the skull opening animations for the start, as well as the sounds that were used in the experience.
Yeah, I was going to point out that skull. I'm going to rewind it back to the start because it's a really kind of epic opening here when you go up to the skull and it like starts breathing on you. It just starts blasting fog out. Yeah, it's really cool. A really cool start to a game. And then the lighting changes and you got this bright glowing visual effect. It's a pretty cool start. And the judges pointed out that beautifully decorated. Yeah, this looks like really professional. Like the set dressing, the variety of the assets used, and their placement, all looks really, really good. But things like that vine swinging, I'm not sure what the best solution is for doing something like that. I've tried experimenting with a few things like that before, with moving platforms. It just seems like moving ladders is just kind of something to avoid in the sandbox right now, for me at least. I've tried putting them on sliding platforms. I've tried putting them on rotates. I've tried putting them on physics items that are like swinging around. And it just seems like the ladder does not play very friendly with being moved, for now. So I think maybe, trying something different. But anyway, it's a really, really, really beautifully designed experience. So good job, Tom. All right, moving on to Egg Pedite by Craft Palm.
All right. So the first feedback that I'm seeing here was posted by @Kamisaze on x.com /Twitter, I believe, that said,
What?
Maybe you posted it in a private Discord chat, but I remember you saying this should have been called Expedite.
Yeah, that was while I was editing the video, I sent that to our Discord. I was like, oh, it could have been called Expedite, and then it would have been, because I think it's supposed to be expedite, like expedite the word where you're delivering something expediently.
Yeah, expeditious. Yeah.
And yeah, Eggpedite still works. Like, I get it, but the S would have made it sound exactly like Expedite. Like,
Expedite.
It was so close.
Yes, so close.
Gotta fully commit to the bit.
Points whatsoever.
No, this was after the judging. It was totally just my thing.
Yeah. So the short feedback here says good race with great design, colorful, on theme, uses all the AS5 abilities. Some parts were skippable and felt repetitive. However, now let's get to the longer. Cute concept and a nice little world design. Was the egg serving the king chicken? I love that. In terms of improving some of the level itself, the level needs a bit of work. I could skip some areas by using double jump to scale the side of the terrain instead of using the platforms. Uh, then the variety for parkour was nice at the start, and then it got very samey for the rest. I'd work on building up more variety of gameplay for the player. So one of the things that is usually recommended when you talk about variety of gameplay is to break things up where you have no more than 30 seconds of the same function. And in a speed style game like this, if the entire duration of the game is 5 minutes, then each grouping should really be no more than like 15 seconds. And I'm just based on what I'm seeing here in the video, that's probably what I would recommend. So if we're just jumping from platform to platform and the platforms aren't moving, that's a good way to like sort of start your level. But as you progress through the level, then you want to start adding more of the obstacles that are in there, and you're going to want the those swinging objects that sort of come to contact with the player. You're going to want those to come in as we increase the degree of difficulty. But the further that we go along, if we're just back to jumping on these platforms, then we're not seeing much challenge there. So you can go later and have the mechanic of, for example, the platform disappears as we jump on the platform. It's got like, it starts to wobble to indicate that it's going to explode or something, and you can't just stand on it for very long. Um, and things like that to, again, just increase that variety of your mechanics. Don't just make it like jumping on the very small little eggs that we're seeing here. Um, Typically, when the sandbox is developing a game in house, um, they recommend not to have platforms that you can jump on that are smaller than a block, and often not even have them be as small as a single block.
Yeah.
You want those platforms to be, just it needs to have a little bit of like niceness for those newer players to be able to play it. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you want the skilled players to just simply because they're better at the mechanics of these games, and once they get some familiarity, you know, they're going to be able to play it just. But yeah,
Yeah, the typical, like, it's recommended not to have something smaller than 2 or 3 meters on each side. So like a 4 square meter or 9 square meter um, object is kind of recommended. So bigger ones like this, totally fine. Um, you will have the hardcore players who are like, I want to stand on a penny, and jump from penny to penny, and it's like, ugh, like that.
yeah,
It's fine to have those, especially as like alternate routes. So you could have a faster route that's more dangerous, and that will be more enticing to a hardcore player who wants to get the best time possible. Big risk, big reward kind of path, but then also have paths that are a little more forgiving because you don't want to. Uh, you may want to, but it's not generally recommended to exclude the more casual players, because you'll have fewer players overall.
yeah.
People
You
will
can see the
give up.
difference in this video right here, right now, for your egg challenge, because it seems like if you're recording, you're probably the developer and you had one other person in there, but that other person is still stuck on those eggs that I mentioned are only,
Hmm.
a block or less in size, and they're falling right now.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot of grace for that falling. You don't have, forgiveness for that. So they're just stuck down there. And are they going to have a good time when the first player gets to the end and it triggers that victory signal? They may feel disappointed and go on to play a different game instead of, you know,
Hmm.
giving them a chance to be there.
To
That's
go.
also another thing to
Oh yeah.
consider. Yeah, sorry. Is your try to make sure that the worst player can complete your game roughly 45 seconds after the best player, for the most part. And you've seen this if you watch the Sandbox official live streams. when somebody hits that victory trigger, and you always end up with like 10 or 15 other players will make it to the end, and one or two can't really make it to the end. Um, that should be your target. In this case, it seems like one person would make it to the end, and then maybe two or three could, out of a group of like 20 people. So
to go back to that the variety thing, kind of like running the numbers in the head, and it's like, okay, if the game is 5 minutes long and you need 15-second groupings of things to do, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need a lot of different things, I wouldn't panic about making sure that every single different thing is unique. It's okay to revisit concepts from earlier in the level, but it's about shuffling them so that way the players are not doing the same thing for too long. But it's okay if they go back and do the same thing again in a different context. And a way that you can also make the gameplay, I don't want to say educational because it's not an educational game, but help the players learn how to play the game is by revisiting those concepts from earlier, but adding in other things that you taught them. So you've got, your basic jumping from platform to platform is concept A, and that's the first thing you give them. And then you give them something like these maces on chains that are swinging back and forth, but without the jumping. And then you go and do a third thing. And then when you get to your fourth thing, now you put jumping from platform to platform with the maces. And so you revisit those ideas and you mix them together. And that way the players do not encounter a challenge that's totally new every single time. They get something that's familiar that they can go, wait, I know how to do this. And they get to use that bit that they learned. And then you throw a twist in there. And now they learn how to do something else, or they learn to use the two skills that they gained together. And that helps make it a lot more accessible to players because they're learning things at a digestible pace as they're being forced to run through something as fast as possible. And it also makes them feel accomplished of like, wait, I know this. They go back to the original Jurassic Park and like, this is Unix. So, I know this.
I want to talk real quick about another way that you could have broke this up that's really easy. It's this system that you have that narrative wise, it's kind of a loose narrative. You're going to deliver this food to the chicken at the end of the game.
I think it's a king egg. You're delivering chicken to the king egg.
Yeah. Sorry. So if we're delivering a chicken to the king egg, you could make it so that after you've done 3 little parkour things and you're like a third of the way there, you like turn in your chicken to a chef. You know what I mean? Like the first leg of the race is you having raw chicken that you're carrying, and you give it to the chef in a checkpoint thing, and the chef gives you like just like 2 seconds of narrative beat that talks, like, oh, you made it, yeah, okay, I cooked it, go, and you pick up the next chicken, and now you've got cooked chicken. So you take the raw material to him, you pick that up, and it's not parkour, but it is still speed run because you still need to deliver cooked chicken to the guy at the end, but it'll allow you to break it up without having to make another puzzle or make another parkour challenge. Yeah, plenty of ways to get variety out. Anyway.
All right, moving on to Castle of Pain by Bago Games. Another good start. This skull asset, I believe, comes from the MK2 collection. I think that's where it's from. But the eyeballs are not originally part of it. They added that in, I think, which is pretty cool. They spiced it up.
So, I'm gonna guess that this game has fantastic art. I mean, I've already started seeing the art design in the video here, but the short notes just say this is a very polished Alpha Season 5 multiplayer race, making great use of each ability. That's the short. Longer notes say this is a nice idea, and they love the atmosphere of the experience. Improvements needed was different game mechanics because, as in with the last experience, it felt very same. After a while, it became predictable. the first time players on the first obstacles have an NPC. Oh, I'm sorry. The first time, maybe players should have an NPC or a sign that teaches you how to use the functions of the tool. So it doesn't seem like they were taught how to use air dance, or to understand what a double jump is. And while that may seem like it's, you know, not a problem because you're familiar with the experience, just note that some players are going to come into sandbox game experiences, and that experience isn't going to have double jump as a feature or air dance as a feature at all. Or that experience isn't about parkouring at all. You know, it may be a fully narrative experience, stuff like that. So you always want to remind people lightly that, on how to use these functions.
There are some tutorial screens at the start. I do see double jump. I'm not sure if the rest are there. Double jump, air dance, and fly. So they did put the tutorial videos in there, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I would maybe have them playing automatically instead of having to press a button to see them, because people might miss that. Like, you got the little sign, but not everybody's necessarily going to turn backwards. Like, they're going to see this skull, and it looks like you start facing it. Where exactly do you start? Yeah, you start right here. You're facing it. There's going to be people who just run straight forwards and don't think to turn around and check out those screens.
That's something to think about when you've got a leading line right there, and that is you spawned, you're looking at skull, bridge says go here, right? It's very pointed. So why would you even turn around to talk to this nobody vendor? If you take that
literally his name is nobody.
Yeah, if you take the nobody and you put it right next to the bridge, like it's a toll booth or a checkpoint to getting into the theme park or what have you, then you would guarantee people talk to nobody. And then those videos, you don't have to have them on the back wall. You could have them floating in the sky in like a little box that, on the way as you walk through the bridge, you put one on the left side and you put one on the right side, as you sort of go down the way. That would help the player be forced to see the functions of the game without taking them out of the immersion of the game, because this walkway is just your, it's just your tutorial walkway. It's your introduction to the game, introduction to the aesthetics of the game. Yeah.
Agreed.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, and they did have some really cool level design stuff going on too. Just it looks really nice. We didn't get very far through the video because I rewound back to the start, but they got to these flaming eyeballs and flying through lava areas and stuff. So some pretty cool stuff. We're gonna move on to Fun Raid by Jay.
All right. Okay. The short of it. This is a colorful Fall Guys type race. It uses all the Alpha Season 5 abilities on a nice beach map. This is a fun racing map, but may need more restrictions on the flight ability. Now, the long one. A nice idea. I like the fact that you had different types of obstacles. The main issue, however, is some things weren't synced up. For the wall break, it would make more sense that they are broken up for all on the run. So if it sounds to me like different people can break through the wall in different ways, which would look pretty funny when you're running through. And if Alex can run through a solid brick wall and I cannot, that's going to feel really weird to your players as they go through that wall run section. And let's see, the collision on those wall breaks was also an issue. So check your collisions on those things. Make sure that somebody can't like glitch on and through them. not just because of the multiplayer issue, but at its base. Um, let's see, the lobby area, although nice with some cool assets, didn't feel cohesive to the rest of the experience. So you've got this bright, colorful, pastel-like
Feels
flat
very Fall Guys.
blocking. Yeah, I mean it is very Fall Guys for
Yeah.
sure. Not even a question. This is super Fall Guys experience. Um, but yeah, you want that aesthetic that's happening here to be happening at the beginning if this is what we're going for art wise. The level design needs more work. It feels too much, or it feels like too much is happening, and sometimes things weren't clear. The obstacles themselves, although cool, didn't feel like they fit in the theme. So you're seeing, I'm gonna guess like this, like these little blocks that we're jumping on. I would just say these don't really match with some of the other parts of the environment, like the big hammers. Again, this comes down to flat textures, pastel arts, and using the color contrast as a guideline to say this is where we go or where we don't go. Um, that's sort of what makes Fall Guys simplistic, easy to understand, easy to play. So you'll want to continue with that if you're going with a theme that is similar. Um, and that is it. Those are the notes.
Yeah, that's another one of those. Always making sure to test a multiplayer. I mean, I can see from this video that you're playing with a second player, but with those wall break things, making sure that those mechanics are fully multiplayer, so they're synchronizing on the server. That way, you don't have on one computer, the left wall is breaking when on somebody else's computer the right wall is breaking. If you randomize those things, it just ends up like it from a single player perspective, it doesn't matter. But when you are considering that you're playing with multiple people, see somebody else run through the wall, that's very confusing if you can't also run through that wall. But more so than it being confusing, it can cause bugs. Having, they pointed out the issues with collision. Those collisions synchronize on the server. So as you're knocking around pieces of wall for you, even though the other players can't see those pieces, they will cause collisions server side for that player. So that's where a player may feel like they're getting kind of pushed around by objects that they can't see. So you got to be careful when using physics objects in multiplayer because that can cause some issues.
Yeah, there's also the other thing that I'm noting now, and I'm not totally sure if this is the case because I didn't get an opportunity to play this one, but it's just a warning to look out for. You're using the jetpack, so vertical portions of the level need to have like invisible walls separating them, walls that would kill the player and send them back to the checkpoint, ideally, because otherwise, when you look at like the end of the race there, where you sort of turned it into a marble run, that can be fun. But if I don't have to do the marble run, jumping with the jetpack and flying straight down would get me to that finish line way faster.
Yeah.
So I would cheat to get to the end. If I'm in a speed run competition, you're going to speed run.
Right.
So, and that's on the dev. That's not on the players when they're in there. And people are, oh, well, you cheated. Like, no, you just didn't use your jetpack, and the dev gave it to you. It's a tool to use.
Right.
So, think about those things.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of obstacles in here that could probably be passed with the jetpack pretty quickly. I'm not sure what sort of invisible walls there are on the side here. Like I'm not playing it right now. I can't go and test them, but that's the kind of thing I do. That's why I break so many games, because I see an invisible. Well, I don't see an invisible wall. I notice the lack of a wall and I try it. And if I'm wearing a jetpack, then it's all there's no rules.
Here, you just fly. There's no reason to run it. If you're in a speed run contest, you're going to already be flying before you got to this part that wants you to do the flight.
Yeah, and I see you're picking up the golden treasures here, but I don't see. I don't know if you get a time reduction for it. Yeah. Trying to see if it looks like there wasn't a time.
Yeah,
change.
no. Yeah, no time change for
Um,
picking it up. Didn't go up or down. And so
so
what's the point of the treasure?
yeah, and that having the treasure would be a thing that might lock me into following the rules more, even with the jetpack. So you don't necessarily have to have a a wall, invisible or not, if you've got objectives that you're aiming for. So maybe getting to the finish line the fastest is not as good as getting all of the golden trophies. So I'm going to be more laser focused on trying to get all the things that I'm supposed to get, and
Yeah.
not worried about trying to get to the finish line by any means possible. So that's a way that you can guide players to, not skip areas. Be like, you don't want to skip that area because there's a thing in there that you need. Um, so invisible walls or visible walls are one way that you can guide the player, but you can also guide them with objectives and whatever works best for your game. But
Mm-hmm.
giving collectibles that don't on the screen, I'm not seeing anything that any benefit to getting the collectibles. No quests, no points, no time reduction. Uh, that's not enticing enough to force me to go through all the areas that I might be able to skip with a jetpack.
Yeah, and it's the same thing right here. You would have been able to skip these last two sections with the jetpack. So
Yeah,
it's
just fly over
very,
the walls.
yeah, fly over the walls, fly over the little micro blocks that you had there. The ones that I mentioned were aesthetically like off. This pile of boxes that has the collisions turned on, that's, I mean, it made you lag in the video, so it's going to make your players lag a lot in multiplayer.
Mhm.
you know. So just little small stuff, but I mean, you've got a strong base, and I think that's the difference, right? That's why it's an honorable mention. It's worthy of continuing to develop and work on and publish into the platform, but just has some small changes to me.
Mhm. Um, Tom Voxel pointed out not just collisions, but also tons of boxes with collisions plus gravity. Yeah, all those things can cause some lag or collision conflict where the server and your computer are fighting, saying they can run here, no, they can't, and it causes some issues. Jazz Wolf says if they make it so the treasure is the key to unlock the next level, then it'll make you have to follow the rules and try to not skip the sections. Exactly. If you put up walls with gates between that only open once you find a certain key, then that's one way. Or even just on the leaderboard, because you can sort by multiple variables. If you make the the fastest time is maybe your primary variable, but maybe it's altered either in a time bonus from the trophies, or you can sort it another way by using the trophies. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do with math and points and leaderboard sorting. Um, and every game is going to have a different way of mixing those things. But you do want the trophies to have some sort of effect on the gameplay if you're going to have them. All right, moving on to Jangle by Experience X Entertainment.
What? How do I spell Jamangle?
Uh, Jumangle,
Okay, all right,
like
thank you.
Jumanji, but
Yeah, yeah,
Jangle.
yeah, 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 yeah. I started with like jam angle. Yeah. Okay. So, um, the short says fun race, but has a collision on the sign showing the player where to go that impedes the racers. There are some challenging areas, but the time for the race is short as well. Um, then, the longer form says really cool experience that fits the theme and is very fun in many areas. There are some elements that do need improving to make your players not want to rage quit. Oof. I do like that you give players the time limit. If they don't complete it, then it respawns the players. Um, if a player reaches the end, you do need at least a 30-second cooldown for other players to also reach the end. I mentioned this earlier. The planks are probably the most annoying part of this experience. in the first plank area, when they go in and out of the walls, they move far too quickly for the player. This is where you have multiple planks, or where you have multiple planks going up and down was not fun at all. I'd switch this up with something else. So I'm gonna watch the video a little bit to get a vibe on what's going on here, because aesthetically, um, you know, it's cool.
Yeah, it's got some nice sort of like Indiana Jones kind of traps going on here. I like these axe
that
things.
Section right there. Wait, go back a little bit.
The rolling rock.
Yeah, right after the rolling rock, when you get to the wall.
Okay, we got the rolling rock.
Okay. So I just want to point this out, because this is not fine. Right there. Stop. Oh, whatever.
That's I'll go back to it. Where so it says climb.
Climb on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. So devs, let me tell you a secret. Okay. In a jungle environment, if there's just a single vine that's hanging down, you're gonna want to climb it. If there's a high contrast to what appears to be a ladder, you're gonna climb it, especially when it's a flat wall face and you're doing like a speed run sort of parkour-ish situation. People are going to intuitively climb a vine, so you don't have to write climb. But what you can do is you could have had an asset that looks like a monkey climbing the wall. Right there, and going another one, like they're going up and down on either side. These monkeys are climbing all over the place or whatever. That would imply this is climbable because they're climbing it. And so you can give people clues that doesn't have to be the yellow paint or a literal arrow with text that says climb this. And those are okay if they're like Dance Revolution, neon aesthetic, whatever. But in a jungle world, you don't often have charcoal writing on the wall that says climb.
And I mean, it's almost a cliche at this point to say, show don't tell. But you may have players who don't speak English, so they see the word climb and maybe that doesn't mean anything to them. But there are definitely vine and ladder assets, and monkeys, and people, human characters with a climb animation that are all free, included in the Game Maker. So there's a lot of options there. Even like little pebble texture stones, as to indicate like handholds and stuff. There's a lot of options there for making what appears to be a climbable surface and letting people know that they can climb it without writing it on the wall.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find the plank section that they were talking about in the let's see. I think it's these. Oh wow, those are very narrow and they slide right into the wall very quickly.
Oh yeah, I see that. And these are rotating a bit fast for my liking, that as well. So yeah, I mean, I could see how this would be frustrating. If you don't know how long it's going to be coming out of the wall for, you've either spent and there's not enough time to even like do it. If you were on a speed run and you rushed around that corner, there's not enough time to be able to perceive if the plank is going to still be poking out or not. So it's not at that point really, like, it sort of is skill-based play, but you can't make it high-level skill-based play because there's just not enough opportunities. Is the same thing happening in the wall there again just a second ago, where there's a literal neon sign that says "Go here"? Yeah.
So there's been a bunch of neon signs. Some of them I haven't been able to read because they're on the side of the wall and you're facing forward, so they're kind of at an angle where you can't really read them anyway. I'm also seeing climb. So here there's a little bit of confusion, right? We're just in a room with a bunch of vines on the wall that you climb, which this is fine. There's no sign that says climb, but you can see the vines. It says this way. That's what the sign says. Yeah. So it's the this way. I think aesthetically everything like matches really nice except for the signs. You've got these glowing neon signs that they stand out, but I don't think that they're particularly necessary. And in this case, it's confusing because when the sign said climb before, it was a climbable wall, and now it's saying climb, but you're having to jump from platform to platform. So it's we're getting conflicting messages here about what we're supposed to be doing. If I wasn't the kind of player that I am, where I'm familiar with a lot of games because I played a lot of games, but also I just like figuring things out. But if I wasn't like that, I would look at the wall that says climb and I just run up against it and be slapping my hands on the wall like, why can't I climb?
Yeah, because we just did that with the brown wall. It was a flat face wall, right? So yeah, there's not only that, but the planks suffer the same thing that I talked about earlier, where you ideally don't want your players to have to jump onto a surface that's smaller than a meter. And you certain like the best use case, you generally want them to jump on one that's like 2 meters to 3 meters. So with those planks that are going up and down, that's a fine mechanic on its own. It doesn't have to be super finessed. It doesn't have to be super people who are fast are still going to be faster. So yeah, little stuff. You know what I mean? None of this is like really game changing. Nothing is awful here. You just have the little stuff is the difference between where you are in the top 10.
I'm wondering, it looks like the Switch makes these pillars appear, but then
it's based on a timer. They disappear within 5 seconds. So because they're not jumping fast enough, it's not working. Make that, because again, these are less than 1 meter pillars. Don't make them disappear in 5 seconds. Make them take 10.
And I we touched on this before that maybe you do want to make a more challenging game for players, but what I would encourage people to builders to remember is that because the sandbox is a huge map platform, you never know what a player's experience is going to be going into something. So what I would recommend is you can do these more difficult 1 meter or half meter platforms for people to jump on, but either put them at the end of your game after you've spent a lot of time, like maybe even a game that's like an hour long, not a speedrun game like this. But you don't want players to, the first time they're playing your game, to within, this video is 3 minutes long, within 3 minutes to be encountering some of the hardest platforming that they've ever done. So you want to ease people in. Like I love hard platformer games like Super Meat Boy and things like that. It's what I used to play all the time, and that game doesn't start off super challenging. It gives you time to ease into the mechanics, learn them, master them, and then after you've been playing for 3 or 4 hours, then you're playing a level that you can't beat in 5 minutes, even though it should take you like 10 seconds to pass the level because you're just dying over and over again. But at that point, I've already developed a attachment to the game where I gotta beat it. Like I've already had these moments of success that make me want to keep going. So it gives me the drive to push through the parts that I'm struggling on. But if a player is really struggling in just the first few minutes of a game, that's not, they might not have the will to carry on. So I would either make a longer game that has those super hardcore challenges at the end, or do a series of games, and at the beginning of each game remind players where they're supposed to start. So get them through, like the timeout games kind of introduced more complicated mechanics in each one of them. We had timeout 1, 2, 3, and 4 during Alpha Season 5. You want your first game to be the simplest one, introduce players to the movements and stuff. And what if they start on the second one, because again, it's an open map, they can join in at any point, give them kind of a notice of like, hey, you're playing the third game in a series. This is the hardcore challenge. Are you sure you want to be here? Check out these other games that I made first, and then maybe you'll be ready. So just some ways to. I'm not trying to discourage people from making difficult games. Difficult games can be fun, but you need to be aware that players might not be ready for your difficult game and might stumble upon your game. So give them some options. All right. Let's go to Jungle Rush by Biashi.
Jungle Rush. Jungle Rush. I got you. It's down here. Okay. Uh, short notes. Good use of the double jump. Interesting parts throughout the course. Good checkpoint locations. Some collisions happen during the race, and you can escape the lobby area. Leaderboard seems to mark a time, but doesn't seem accurate for the player's individual personal time. Long notes. Firstly, I was able to parkour over the wall by jumping up the side pillar and rocks. The game also auto-finished upon the first player reaching the finish line, which means for everyone else they don't get a time. I suggest adding a countdown, maybe 30 seconds, as mentioned in a previous experience. Loved how the areas were diverse with swimming and double jumping. It felt simple but fun with different elements. Really, you should work on blocking out the lobby area off so players can't skip and get out of the space, and work on making sure the end of the race has a countdown so others can finish. So, pretty straightforward. Seems to be a higher quality experience, but those exploits can really change how this game, you know, is played. And you can see the environments. I think they're pretty well thought out art wise so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Um, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If a player is able to skip into the race from the lobby, that can really ruin a leaderboard for other players. And if you plan on doing any events, especially if there's prizes, that will absolutely be something that'll mess it up. Um, the what was the my brain just blanked on what the other note was besides the uh
It was
the end timer.
End of match. Yeah.
The end timer is a really easy thing to implement. There's just a setting. So when you set that victory, um, uh, there's a little like checkbox or a tick to like turn on a countdown timer, and you can set the time on it. It could be 10 seconds, it can be 30 seconds, whatever time you type in there. So that's really important to give other players a chance to complete the game, and it means that if you integrate this with a leaderboard, if you have it victory and end instantly, only the first place player will show up on the leaderboard. Everybody else just gets a blank, um, and that can be frustrating. You would have been in second place, and the leaderboard doesn't even say anything about your name. It's kind of disappointing. So, giving other players the opportunity to cross the finish line will give you a more filled out leaderboard, and it'll be more fun for everybody. Uh, Jaswolf had said in the chat that she always tries climbing vines when she sees them in the sandbox, and is sad if you can't climb them. And I said it's the same thing for me and waterfalls. If they don't have a cave behind them, they gotta don't go chasing waterfalls. Gosh, Joe.
Yeah, that's right. DLC warned you. Come on, Alex.
All right. Let's move on to Velociraptor Parkour. So the team name was just the numeral 1 was set for the team name, and I wasn't sure if it was a typo. Chowie Suzuki, I think is how that would be said, is the person who made this, and you can see that's their account name in the corner.
Sure. Okay. Short notes. If the player doesn't reach the first checkpoint, they can be taken out of the race entirely. The lava area seems difficult and much easier to skip using the stone pillar at the bottom. Checkpoints should have some type of animation or information provided to the player to signify that the checkpoint has been reached and collected. That's the short notes. The longer notes here say, nice concept, and you seem to have designed some good elements. However, it was very skippable and jumpable. You really need to block off the lobby area. I died in the first area and it didn't save a checkpoint and sent me to the lobby again. So I spent a few moments jumping around and managed to jump over the walls into the water area. Most of the game can be done just by walking on the floor and skipping most of the obstacles. If you want the player to have a floor option, you need to make sure they are being reprimanded in some way, being made slower, needing to climb ladders up, etc. Check your terrain and level design. Otherwise, it's a nice experience with a good start, and I hope you make some of these improvements.
Yeah, that's definitely I point out earlier, if you're gonna do those hardcore areas, for those players, it's a risk reward situation where they're risking a more difficult uh, area where they could potentially fall for a faster time, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that running along the ground is not just faster to begin with. There needs to be things in the way, things that slow down, whether it is a floor that's damaging or just murky and slows them down. Maybe it's got a lot of objects that they kind of trip over. Um, we don't really have a slow. Well, we do have a speed reduction, right? You can get speed boosts, or you can do a speed reduction. So you might want touching the floor to activate a speed reduction, or just having things in the way, obstacles that are not difficult to get past because it's the easy mode, but just take a while to walk around. It ends up being a longer path than running straight along the ground. And of course, don't let people from the lobby jump super far ahead into the match. Right, we got one more honorable mention. This is Impossible Dream Studio and Fredenford. Fredenford works for Impossible Dream Studio, with Volcano Rush. Sorry, Volcano Run. I was seeing Volcano Jungle Rush right next to Volcano Run.
Yep. I got you. I see it. Volcano Run. Short notes. Unique challenges and hidden areas to find. Some of the pathing isn't obvious as there are white crystals and no purple crystals, but both teams are meant to converge at this location. This caused a bit of confusion after the crawling section. The hidden area had an air dance silhouette directing the player, making it seem like the primary path. Longer notes. Nice experience with a great atmosphere. It felt more space inspired than Volcano, but that's probably just the suits. I love how you incorporated your own designs and intellectual property into this, and it worked really well. I would suggest a tutorial a little close to the start because you can, before you can pick up the helmets. First, I skipped talking to the guy at the start and went straight to putting on a helmet and exploring. Maybe a pop-up on the entry would be best to say, once you place the helmet on, you'll be choosing your ability and a tutorial section appears. This would feel better if the race started at the same time for all players as well. Adding a wait of around 1 minute for players to join should work, and then lower the wait time when X number of players join. So, that's the full notes on that from those folks. Alex, what are you seeing in this video right now?
I mean, it's looks pretty straightforward. It looks fun. As far as like the wait timer goes, that's a good idea. You don't, if you have a full lobby, you don't want to force everybody to wait the full length of time. Like you want some time in there to give other players a chance to join. But once the lobby's full, it's like you can just start the race. So that's one of the things where you can have a message at the start. Whenever a player joins the match, there's a specific activation for that in the rule system. So on player join, it ups the player count. And so, I don't know how many people are supposed to participate in this game, but let's just say you have a max players of 4. Once you hit 4 players, then it can just set the race time countdown to 5 or 10 seconds. That way, players aren't waiting there for another minute or two with just okay, let's go. I do love these gears. Again, this is another example of using that new rotate behavior. Just looking really fun, running through those crystal gears. So I'm excited to see how people use this, because I've seen several uses in it, and at least I think 4 of the games so far I've seen it, and I think people are going to figure out more cool ways to use this, and I'm here for it. All right, we are ready to take a look at our winners. In 10th place, we had what?
Wait, Alex, I wanted to ask you a question, sort of live here, with relation to the time schedule. See, I don't know if you guys know this, but Alex is planning on running this show for 4 hours straight today. We're about an hour and a half, and we're transitioning conveniently into the top 10 at the same time as an ad break is about to run.
True. It does say it's starting in 4 minutes, so I think we could get.
Yes. So what I'll do is probably I'm going to bow out during the ad break, but we'll run the number 10, and then because I imagine that with these short games, you're probably going to want to start playing a few of them, aren't you?
I will, yeah. I think I can go through and read the feedback on the rest of them. But you want to do the 10th place?
Yeah, let's go to 10. I mean, okay. I'll roll through until the end. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 24-hour stream. Not today. I'm not ready for that. My I don't have my throat's like really dry today. I've already had 2 pints of water since we started the stream, and is that a quart, right? Had a quart of water since the start of the stream, and
yeah,
so almost a liter is what this is. And I can feel it in my throat. I'm not lasting that long.
Temple Rush. I only cut him off because we got 3 minutes till the ad break.
Yeah. Go. Temple Rush it.
Unique challenges and hidden areas to find. Some of the pathing isn't obvious as there are white. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on Volcano Run. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, screw that. Really nice experience. I especially like the fact that if the player fell down in the mud or the water, it would slow them down. Very good use of a debuff. I would say to improve, please either change the fly area or cut it out. Forgive that background noise. I live right next to a major rural highway, and these guys are loving their motorcycles on this sunny day. Please change either the fly area or cut it out. It's far too tight and hard to navigate to the point that it was somewhat unenjoyable. The time to start race also needs to be slightly shorter. I'd actually suggest putting a minute wait timer before the race can start, and then a 10 to 20 second timer after the lever is pressed. That way players can join and start in a nice, timely manner. Good game overall. Well done. That was the long feedback on that. So let's see if I can find
I had to skip the start because it did take over a minute to get into the race.
It says, good race with AS5 abilities. Some areas of improvement would be faster start time for the race. Additional players in the same race having their score ranked on the leaderboard as well instead of just the first place player. So again, it seems like one of our testers ran into that same problem where they ended up being second place to Panda Pops, no surprise, and they didn't get their score on the scoreboard, and that would be, that could be slightly frustrating for people.
Another good use of the rotate here, not for a wheel, but for obstacles, like swinging axes or hammers are gonna knock you off. There have been some changes since 0.11 came out for how the victory and defeat system works, and I think that can affect a leaderboard. I'm hoping that we can maybe go over that in one of these Wednesday streams, looking at the mechanics and try to iron out some of the difficulties, because we did it before, and then I think there were some changes in an update. It's the leaderboard is fairly picky about how you determine people have won a race, and I think it would be good if we could have like a solid answer on that, so to make sure that everybody gets in there. Ooh, love the VFX as these hammers smack down. That looks really cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Definitely some really nice asset design in here. Another nice use of the rotate behavior to have these spinning blocks. So yeah, some really cool stuff going on in here. And we do have the ad break starting now. So thank you, Joe, for hanging out with us. We'll be back in about like 30 seconds, 90 seconds. I don't know how long the ad break is, but we'll be right back. I'll be right back. Joe's going to say bye. And I'm back. All right, everybody. So, I'm going to pull up the feedback, and then we'll start playing some of these games once we're done with the feedback. So let me get this open here. I didn't have it up and ready to go like Joe did. All right, so moving on to our 9th place winner. This was Jungle Friends by NFT Woojin and Rion. Jungle Friends, here we go. All right, so, wow, Panda left a big block of notes for this one. This was super cute and well done, especially with the assets created for this experience. I liked it, but it does need some additional work to make sure this is even more amazing. Firstly, at the start, it's very intense very quickly. You need your player to be able to use the controls first. I'd actually like the spikes near... I'd actually add the spikes near the start, although not that close to the start line, just due to how slidey the player is when they respawn. And then add the bombs near the end instead. Okay, so we've got the bombs first and then the spikes. So Panda's saying to flip those. If the player dies before the next checkpoint, they keep getting reset with the timer in the first area. I'd actually suggest having a game start zone, a countdown there for players to get in, maybe 1 minute, 30 seconds. And then when X amount of players join, this is the feedback we've been seeing on a lot of these, right? Is that you need a slightly better system for the startup of the game. And there's plenty of games. If you play, other multiplayer matchmaking games, then you will have seen these sorts of mechanics in other spaces. I do think the way that that Timeout 1, 2, 3, and 4 did it in Alpha Season 5 were pretty good examples of starting those up. You had to approach the button first, and it said, okay, wait like 10 seconds, and then the button became available. So it just gave a little bit of time to like a warm-up time for people. Let's see. When X amount of players join, that reduces to 20 seconds. Upon teleport is when the timer starts. So the importance there is that if somebody dies and respawns back to the start of the race or to the last checkpoint, you don't want to reset their timer because that should count, right? They failed, and that's part of the punishment of failing on the race is that now they've got more time on their timer. I'd suggest adjusting your silver and bronze and potentially gold time. Let's see. First time I played, I got 3 minutes. A player should feel the need to replay it again, maybe along the lines of gold 3 minutes 20, silver 5 minutes, bronze 7 minutes. Add a leaderboard at the end of the experience and allow the player to click finish. So when the player finishes the race, they click a button and it ends the race for all players. So again, what we were pointing out with making sure that you don't end the race for everybody, that you get some sort of countdown timer at the end. Make sure you do a mass teleportation of players to race at the start. Yeah, and so that's if you do have that warm-up timer at the beginning of the game, you do want to bring all of the players to the start line at the start of the game. That way, if they're exploring whatever hub or entrance lobby you have, that you say, hey, we're starting now, like everybody get lined up. You don't have to tell them that because you force them there. Let's see. Moving on to Game Jam Adventurer. Is that the title? There we go. That was not the title here. Oh, because I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry. This is what co-hosts are for. I'm a little lost. Our next one is Protocol Escape by No Lifer Team. Panda says, it's a cool concept, like the level design and the ideas of this experience. Lots of different game mechanics added. What I will say, as this experience feels like a time trial race, especially with the gold, silver, bronze, having one player needing to open the doors inhibits that person in the first place. I think it would make more sense for your players to start with the double jump ability and then only one they need to collect being the fly one for the end. Having levers pulled for water to then break the last tunnel. You'll for sure have one player just sit there and hope the others will do the levers. It's a bit counterintuitive for a race game. I like the idea, and for a more adventure puzzle style game, this would work very well. For a race, not so much. You did a good job just looking at those points. So what Panda's pointing out is later on in this game. Okay, well, actually, there's one right here. So you do the left click to break this open, but it breaks it open for everybody. So the issue there is that you're in first place, and now you have to stop and break something open. I think the look of breaking it open is cool. I like the concept. And if this was a single player speed run type game, that would be okay. But because it's in the multiplayer context, you will have players who will try to take an easier path by like, oh, we'll let them break it. So they'll be like ready to run, waiting for you to open the door for them. And it seems like there's other parts throughout the game that have a similar sort of mechanic. So it just ends up being an obstacle that doesn't work very well in a multiplayer context because it is constantly punishing somebody for being in first place. Let's see what the other judge had to say. That was Protocol. A unique experience, which reminds me of Indiana Jones. Small mixture of puzzles. Unlocking the items for each ability seems a little off track, which you can lose valuable time if the first player to reach the item unlocks it for all players as well. Yeah, and that's another. When you're looking at the abilities, you'll want that to be kind of if possible, make that a single player mechanic. And here it looks like this is where, oh, we're waiting for the water to fill up. That's kind of cool. So yeah, the player here is the one who's doing all the work, filling up this area with water. But the other players could just not do all that jumping. So yeah, just don't punish somebody for being first place by forcing them to wait through these things. But the puzzle aspect of this is really cool, actually. So maybe could be good for a speed run of a single player sort of game, but blocking off the leader in a competitive match, not so much. Moving on to Trial of the Black Tide by Pepper. That was in 7th place. One judge says, interesting forced avatar using the abilities. Some clambering isn't that easy, especially for the large rocks. Eggs being cooperative makes it a little less competitive. No leaderboard for better replayability. So let's see what the mechanics actually are here. We head to the gate, wait for the system to teleport you, queue up. Avoid the traps. Collect 25 stars. Oh my god. I read the wrong notes. I might be illiterate. Okay. Ignore what I just said. I did think the eggs thing was a little confusing because we already looked at a game with eggs. And there's no eggs here. So this one is the notes for Trial of the Black Tide. Sorry about that. Teleported in facing the wrong way. Great use of double jump and air dance. Could use a little more pathing options. Didn't climb high enough. Okay. And then the other notes were... Let me make sure I'm reading the right one. The problem is I had 2 games that were named Trial of something that were right next to each other on the spreadsheet with all the voting. Trial of the Black Tide says, very well done. Love this. Blocked off the start area. Good time for people to join in with the countdown. Really liked this as it allows players to add their equipment. Only downside is collected abilities within the race can throw you off the race a little with the need to equip. I'd suggest giving players the air dance and double jump at the start before the race starts, where you already have the double jump boots. Nice level design. Also, leaderboard needs some work as it's only counting the person who comes first, and you want to be adding source for all players. So again, the same leaderboard notes. As far as equipping things during the race, I do remember getting questions about that when this game jam started and how you could kind of mitigate that. And what I did suggest is almost having, I don't remember exactly what I suggested before, but what I'm thinking of now is something almost like a pit stop. If you are able to create multiple areas for the player, or give them some sort of like teleport countdown, if you take them kind of out of the race for their pit stop where they can put on the other equipment, you can create like the same amount of delay for all the players. So give them like a 15-second cooldown time where they're taken out of the race to a place where they get that other the jetpack, and they put on the jetpack and then they get reinserted into the race. But if you make that time the same for all the players, then it doesn't affect their ranking based on like how fast they can equip something, unless they take a ridiculously long time to do it. So that's one possibility. Have a thing that teleports them and then individually, and then starts a timer to teleport them back into the race. Jay asks if I can see the winning list. Yeah, let me I can just do it as a screenshot. 1 second. I'm the honorable mentions, they have numbers next to them just because that's how I organize the videos, but not because it's an actual ranking. But they'll be in here also. There you go. Can you read that? I don't know if it's too small on the screen. I can zoom in. There we go. That's the winning list. Take a screenshot, it'll last longer. Lucas says, don't you hate waterfalls without caves behind them? Yes. Well, no, I don't hate waterfalls if they don't have a cave behind them. I'm just a little disappointed. I hate it if none of them have a waterfall behind them. I'm okay with some of them not having a waterfall behind them as long as at least one does. Did I say waterfall behind them? I can't talk today. A cave behind them. Because that's what gives me incentive to look behind. And if I never find one behind, then it's a disappointment. If I find it behind one, I'm like, okay, it was worth looking. And so then I want to check all the others too. Pepper says, yes, what I did is pause the timer for 7 seconds upon collecting. Okay, yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. I think I did suggest something like that. I don't remember if it was you who asked me. The reason I'm thinking about it with the teleporting is that it takes them out of the race space, so they can't really like exploit it to try to like you know, like what if they do a roll before like the timer goes off or something like that. If they're out of the race as if it's a pit stop in like, you know, Formula 1 or something, then they're not a distraction to the other players, and it will give kind of a visual distinction to the player, because the judges might not have noticed that the timer paused for those 7 seconds. So if you move them to another place, that is like a very clear signal of we're outside of the race and now we're back. So yeah, I think pausing the timer for 7 seconds is good. It's just I'm adding on to that the teleporting as like a way that would bring some distinction. All right. Are y'all done with the list here? I'm gonna take it off the screen so we can see. Moving on to Sunset Leap by Marshall 17. Pull that up on the screen here. All right, fun experience, but needs some work on a few details. Checkpoint flags have collisions. Players don't have to backtrack if they fall. They can just walk underwater to the next area. Slide under log? Question mark? I don't have any context for that. We'll see on the video probably. Ranking leaderboards should include all players' time instead of just the first place player. There's been like 4 games in a row that have all had that feedback. So I think that's a common issue. I'm not sure if that was related to a game maker change, or just something that we need to figure out how it works and make sure we educate all the builders on how to set that up correctly. Sunset Leap. The longer feedback is a good idea and concept. However, some areas really need improving. The leaderboard needs improving upon right now. Only whenever the race goes on the leaderboard. You need to make it so all player scores are counted. Flags have collisions, so turn those off. Yeah, it's pretty common for checkpoint flags to not have collisions in games because you're just running through it, and you never know how close you need to be to the flag. Like, yeah, you can see right there, you kind of got stopped by the edge of the flag. So even if it was a real flag, like you'd be able to push it out of the way as you ran past it. Um, the other issue is if a player falls off any area, they can just run to the vines to climb up. This really makes it feel less competitive and fun, as why even try the obstacles. So this kind of goes back to the game we were talking about before, that you want to make sure that the bottom path, of the easy path, or the penalty path, if you will, if you fell, um, does take longer than the difficult parkour part. I suggest putting the vines or something further back so the player has to climb up and try the obstacle again. On a few areas, it makes sense where the vines are, but need to think about ways to challenge your players. The different gameplay obstacles were nice, though, and well done. So I think this is the one where we had... Was this the one with the rolling rocks? Yeah. Love a little Indiana Jones bit. Pushing players back. We got the... I don't know if to call them like a coin pusher, because it's vertical. It's an interesting way to use the air dance, though, on that. Love seeing the rotate behavior here. That can be... that little bit at the end, that could be so stressful, but in a good way. Having a challenge like that, it's like not technically difficult. You just got to run in a straight line, right? But it mixes it up with those paddles ready to swat you. But they also kind of help recover you if you get to the end of them fast enough. That's a good end to a race. That could make for a lot of clutch moments at the end of a race. Let's go on to Temple Rush. Sorry, we already did Temple Rush. The list that I normally look at, they're all in order. It's the thing that I screenshotted and sent you for. And then the judges' feedback notes is all 50 games. I think there were 48 games in this jam, something like that. Yeah, there were 48 entries in this jam. So the judges write notes on every single one of those 48 games. And my brain just goes, go down to the next one in line. It's not the next game on the list, though. So we're going to go to Rotate Rush by Toby and Kraft. That is 5th place. Short feedback says, cool idea to have the player enter the game inside the arcade machine. Simple race with double jump mechanics. Spectate area could use some flat collision surfaces. We'll see if maybe there's more information about that. I also like how there's a little digital rift as you get in there. Let's see what the longer feedback says. Fun and exciting. I think some collisions and damage boxes need sorting a little more. The game started pretty difficult with how fast those platforms were spinning. I'd also like to see the color scheme for the experience feel a bit more arcade-like. It felt more like Fall Guys rather than an arcade-style themed area. Overall, nice experience, but could do with a small amount of work. Maybe add a gold, silver, and bronze speed race quest. Gold should get really hard. So yeah, I think with the color scheme, I'm definitely seeing kind of the Fall Guys look also. This is like Fall Guys Metaverse-y. I guess it depends on the kind of arcade games you play. One thing that you can do if you're trying to emulate the idea of like old school arcade machines, you might want to look at color palettes that are used in arcade games, because you can reference some pretty specific games without actually stealing their artwork or anything, just by trying to evoke the same color concept, and that can definitely make a difference. I think part of it is here that we've got really minimalist flat texturing with these blocks, which does feel very Fall Guys. It feels very modern, and does not necessarily invoke retro gaming, where you would see more pixel art. So just some thoughts there. And then you like these spinny, spiky logs. They look good, but they don't look like they belong in this world. So just some things to think about with the aesthetic. That actually seems like most of the criticism is that maybe the difficulty started too fast, and then the aesthetic looks good, but maybe doesn't look like an arcade game. I love that ending though. That skydive through the rings is pretty cool. All right. Now our next one is Treetop Trails by Ann Joyce. This was in 4th place. So first note was I was able to skip the lobby, but crawling under the sign to start the race. Could use more defined pathing by blocking off areas that look open. And then nice, but does need a fair amount of work for the level design, especially blocking areas. It was possible to crawl under the sign in the lobby, skip over the fence into the starting area. You really need to make sure to block the lobby and starting area off as much as possible. Always check with crawling, charging double jumps. You also added a lot of sections that made climbing and jumping over terrain possible. The slide on the tree was probably the hardest bit, but overall a nice course. Met criteria, and you had done the leaderboard well. I'd suggest adding a time trial quest and making sure to block your areas a little more, but otherwise well done. So yeah, it sounds like the leaderboard was successfully accomplished in this one. So we just got to figure out consistently like what's the best way to set up the leaderboard, because you can set it up differently for different games, but if everybody has the same sort of race style game, you want to try to have certain standards, not like oh, this is the right way to do it, but this is a consistent way to do it, so that way players know what to expect. Let's see if we can see what they're talking about with the pathing. So it does look like there's a lot of like 1 and 2 meter tall block sections. And if you have the double jump, you can get up at least 3 meters, maybe even 4. I think the max is 3 though. So do really have to be aware that adding in those double jump abilities will make people be able to climb up areas higher than they used to be able to. So you really got to watch out for that. Ooh. Fell down the side of a tree there. It looks like the collision's not quite lined up on this tree to the left here, and it like reset the air dance, so you're able to continue on there. So making sure that those things are lined up straight. The issue there being like you want to fall to the ground, respawn, and go back to the checkpoint and have to continue going on. But because you reset the air dance, it actually takes longer to fall all the way down. So it's like if you ever played N64 Mario Kart, Rainbow Road, like most races, most of the other courses, if you fall off the track, you get back on the track pretty quickly. But Rainbow Road, there were some sections where you could be falling for like a whole 10 seconds, and you're like, I want to get back in the race. Next we got 3rd place, Jurassic Race with Team Zangduru. Are there 2 called the same name? Or is this a different? Let me double check that I'm reading the right one here. Okay, all right. I was seeing different names for who did it, but it is somebody who was on the team versus the name of the team. So I just want to make sure that I didn't read the wrong notes again. All right. So the short note was unique race of dinos, interesting and fun idea, tough to navigate terrain. That was very short. I love the way that the dinosaurs are done in here. Um, what is hilarious to me is all the sliding sections look like an Akira reference with the bike sliding on its side. Let me see that. I think there was one right at the start, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right here. And you go down this slide and you just like it looks pretty good. Is it equipment? Yeah. So it's an equipment. Um, the way this equipment is set up and the way they're all different, I think looks awesome. Like it just looks really good. Um, awesome creative concept for this experience. Very nice level design, and love the dinosaur options. Different gameplay elements made the game interesting. I'd potentially say for a race, it might be a little too long. I feel some of this could have been made shorter, and then add a second experience with the other biomes. Um, a little like timeout experience went from jungle to beach in different games. The leaderboard also didn't log either of our scores even after a second playtime. To improve, maybe focus a little more on refining those areas and make the race slightly shorter, and make sure the jump areas have enough room to move uh, around. The platforms and bone rotate sections were particularly hard due to the camera and tight squeeze. So you know, if people are finding that the game is too long, but then there's also some paths that are too narrow, that might be a suggestion that you need to make the hallways and the rooms that people are in bigger, which will make the game shorter because there's less path to go through, but also is a little more friendly to the camera. So having a game that's really dense in the space can be good, but there is a limit that you hit. All right. Next, we've got in second place Cocoa Nuts by Lockle. I will say, editing this one, I was like, the I didn't want to cut. Like, as I'm watching the gameplay in this game, I was like, where do I cut? Because everything's good and everything's exciting, like right at the start of the game. It was just kind of enthralling to watch. So let me read the feedback here. Um, very fun custom avatar monkey in the jungle game. Great implementation of the double jumps for the monkeys. Rewarding and fun. 10 out of 10. No bad notes. Awesome experience. Really cool. Love this. Great concept to improve better pathing. Oh, sorry. Let me divide the sentence a little better. Awesome experience. Really cool. Love this. Great concept. To improve better pathing up the trees, leaves at the top were hard to jump off of. So gameplay wise, you've got to run up these trees, and like the little speed bursts from the double jumps as you go up the trees. Like I think that's what the effect is. I'm pretty sure you're doing a double jump while you're climbing. And then the coconut falls down and you like skydive and grab it in the air and stuff. Like it just looks so frenetic and fun. We're gonna try to play this one in a few minutes here. So much of the style of the way this monkey character jumps around, this it just reminds me of like Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong, like the N64 versions. Like just this just looks like a ton of fun. I'm getting like monkey ball vibes too, a little bit. Not like the style of gameplay, but just like the fun of it. And for our first place winner, let's see what the feedback was on that. This was Sandbox Freerunners by It's Jam. Bye, Iverson, you still in the chat? It says incredibly cool side scroll platform race. Very nice level transition sequence. Race was slightly long, but it felt like it was paced well. Didn't feel like there was a point in time for me to want or need to use left click fireball mechanic. Okay. And liked the tutorial, visually descriptive. You could tell from the visual cues as well as written tutorial information. This experience, uh, based on being played, sorry, I'm like really far away from this screen, and this text is kind of small. Um, this experience, based on it being played like a time trial race, is too long. Ideally, you want your races on a quick run, at most to be 4 minutes, and that's at most. What I would suggest for this experience to be improved, and my first suggestion goes against the rules for this game jam, but I think it would play better for this type of game, which is to make it a single player experience like Meta Blaster, or break this experience into 2 experiences. I absolutely loved the camera change when we started going up the ladder into the volcano, and we run along the corridor before dropping. This was super cool. I'd actually make uh, this the first experience finish area, and then make a second experience, which is the final area. So, one suggestion was to potentially break these up into separate races. I know what the first judge was talking about with the transition from one scene to the next. I made sure to leave that in the clipped video that I put together, because it just looked really cool, going from this area into the lava area. I do understand, like, making a speedrun game, you want to keep them a little bit tighter, a little bit faster, because people will want to play a race over and over again. But if the race is like really long, they might be like, this is too much of a time commitment, and they want a little snack of a race instead of a really long race. But I do like the suggestion of potentially making this single player. And you could even consider, I don't know how much space you need front to back. Like, I don't know if this takes up the whole land going from the first section to the second section. But you could potentially make it a longer game, as a single player game. What you might want to do for something like that, you could use Magic Palette, and you could actually make this like a 1x2, or even a 1x3, and make the game longer front to back, so you have more layers, and then we get to see, like, what each level is as we go on to the next one. I think there's a lot of good potential for this game to do that. But instead of just talking about this, well, I will show the transition. I'll show what it looks like when you go from the first section to the second section. So this is the end of the first section here. And I think maybe you're waiting for your friend to catch up. We're jumping away. Throwing fireballs at him. Let's go. No, climb up the ladder. There we go. Okay. So going in between this, and then you have this long slide, and you get to see the whole second level while going down this slide. That's really visually striking and really cool. And then this skydive, it really gives a sense of scale for the game. I love that. I would say, like, if you were to split this into 2 games, leave that slide in place, just start your game at the top of the slide. But I would say leave it together, make it even longer, make this a 1x2 going further back, and do that again. do like, okay, like now you're outside of the volcano, make the next one an ice level. It's the mountainside outside of this volcano, right? Like maybe there's snow on the outside of the volcano, like the volcanoes in Hawaii. And now you're skiing down the ice and the snow as you go down the side of the volcano, and then you're into the next area. Like, I think that moment was so cool in this game that you need to, iterate on that and to come up with more things to do. Maybe you're sliding down a mountain to get to another forest area, or maybe it's a city, on the side, and then after the city you go to like the beach, and then you go down, you're diving down in water like a submarine, and now you're like finding Atlantis or something. I don't know what you're going to do with this, but I would love to see you extend this game as a single player experience with more to do. And yeah, you could make it like time trial where as a single player you get your best time for each section and then your total time or something like that. But yeah, keep going with this because this was really cool. All right, instead of talking about it, I want to play it. So we're going to, and these are all multiplayer, and I believe most of them are published to the map. So we're gonna work our way from first place and work our way back. So until, well, we got another hour and a half or so. So I'm gonna share this in the chat. Just a second here. I gotta shorten the URL a little bit. I think this will work. Nope. This work? That works. Okay. All right. So I'm dropping the experience in the chat. We're going to fire it up and we're going to try to play it. Actually, the tracks would be different and the user would determine the race. Oh, there were even trampoline and dash features, but I had to remove it when there was a synchronization problem in multiplayer. Okay, that makes sense if you wanted to have like players selecting which race that they wanted to do. I was kind of thinking that, but at the same time, I was thinking that's not going to work very well in multiplayer with the way like the end game mechanics work for leaderboard and stuff. So I think we'll have to see. That there's some plans for 0.12 that I don't know what's on the official roadmap. So I don't know how much I can say, but there may be something in there that will help expand something like this out. So we'll see. Oh, and you got the good song on too. This is like my favorite song in the Sandbox. All right, I see Jazzwolf joined. Hey, Jazzwolf. Collect some different outfits here. We could be the egg. I like that. I like the combination of the egg with the dinosaur head. I think that's pretty funny. It works better with this one. I got Byverson, Rifulin. All right, let's take a look at the tutorials. Do you want to play tutorials? Yes. Social features, press enter. Green water and red lava will hurt you. Blue water is harmless. You can walk in it. Green and lava water are 15 damage. You must use double jump to jump long distances. You can see it written as D-jump in the track. You can double jump by pressing the space key 2 times. So we did talk a good bit about like the writing on the wall. Oh, I fell in the lava. Oh, combination coyote jump And double jump. Nice, I went really far. It's now, because this is an established tutorial area, I think it's fine. You do have it throughout the course, and I don't know. I feel like it's less obtrusive because it's not the glowing blue neon that we saw in that other game. Almost all walls are climbable. If you need to go up, use the walls. I would say having that in the tutorial means that you maybe don't need to say it as much. But just the fact that it's not glowing blue and animated, I think makes a big difference. Can we climb this one too? No. Okay. You have 2 different weapons to stop your opponents. You can shoot your opponents with fire. It activates every 10 seconds. Each hit deals 25 damage to your opponent. The player who has lost all health starts at the nearest checkpoint. Ultimate gives a 30% slow to everyone except you. You need to collect 20 sand if you want to use it. Ooh. Okay, cool. All right, there's 5 of us in here. We ready to start the race? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there somebody still finishing the tutorial? Oh, see, Red Lily Rose joined us. I wanna hang out with the dinosaur. He's my grandfather. All right, I guess we are all set. Let's go. Do you want to start the race? Yes. Be ready. Good timer. I like that there's a player count and a timer count. Race starts in 20 seconds. Complete the beach. I guess I was saying first and second section. Is the beach actually the first section, and then there's 3 sections? Let's go. Woo! Oh. There was a better way. Whoa. Oh no! I fell way down. I didn't realize that was an opening that far. I just dove right into it. I thought I could keep going. Oh! Who's shooting me? I do not have a lot of health left. Did I just shoot myself? Aha! Oh. Oh, nice little rain effect. Good spacing on all these double jump things. Like, it feels very natural. Ooh. Oh, you got me! Ah, you sniped me. Rude. You were waiting for it too. You knew exactly. Oh, he did the slowdown. I'm saving mine. I'm with you, Jazz Wolf. Skipping all this. Oh no! I fell short. Oh, why is that not climbable? I'm stuck. Yep, double jump. Why can't I reach that? I also feel like I'm going slow. Have I not been running for a while? I think I accidentally tapped X. Yeah, I wasn't, for some reason I wasn't sprinting. I was just doing regular running. Okay. Virusid's way ahead of us now. We gotta use that ultimate. You are in the list? What? Oh, the I thought something I said was meaning I was like on some FBI watch list or something. You're talking about the winner list. Oh. Oh, with that slowdown. Double jump areas are hard when you're forced to be slow. Okay. Got it. Oop. See how you like it. Oh, there was no platform there. No. I don't know if I'm in second or third. Oh, I'm moving so slowly. That slowdown's pretty brutal. Oh, what? Okay. I like freaked out for a second. Sometimes vertical ladder climbing on platformers in the sandbox does not always behave friendly. For the most part, it's working fine in this, but every once in a while, it kind of feels like it's not quite aligned right. I died. Oh, checkpoint was right there. Wasn't even that big of a deal. Complete. Under 10 minutes. Ooh, I got all the quests. Oh, I didn't get 100 sand. Can I go back and get it? Game finishes in 14 seconds. I don't think I'm going to be able to go back that far. Like, I don't know how much sand I'm going to be able to find in that amount of time. I skipped a whole bunch of sand on the slide. I got pretty close. 91 out of 100 sand. Was there a leaderboard at all? Oh, wait. How did you get 7 minutes? I thought you were ahead of me. Did you fall? Like right at the end? I didn't think I was in first place. What happened? Byverson, I need an explanation. What happened? See, there was enough exciting stuff in there happening that you fell 3 times, like right at the end. I honestly had no idea. I like was wondering where you were when I got at the end. For me, the fact that that was like a 6.5 minute long race, like it flew by. I was having fun the whole time. So the fact that it's like a little on the long side, I'm cool with. Yeah, no, but also I like long things, like movies that are 3 hours long and games that kind of go on forever. So, you know, I'm not sure. Your time probably ran out quicker than mine. I don't know what that means. My time ran out? I think we all have the same timer, right? Anyway, I liked that a lot. That was a lot of fun. I agree that the fireball mechanic, it definitely got me out. But I didn't really feel like good moments to use it. I suppose, like, you know, you get to a checkpoint and then you wait to, like, it's almost like griefing the other players. I definitely felt the ult with the slowdown was a better, like, more useful mechanic. I guess, but by that same token, like playing Mario Kart, I never use green shells offensively. Almost never. Very rarely use green shells offensively. I usually use them defensively. I like hold them behind me to like block other people attacking me, or I shoot them backwards. I guess that's because a lot of times I'm in first. But I don't feel like I can aim them very well. So like I'll use red shells in front of me, but I almost never use green shells. And this feels like a similar scenario to me where like I just don't feel confident about shooting them out in front of me while I'm running to like know how to aim them and stuff. And I might, like, with more plays, I might feel better about it. All right. We've got another ad break starting in a minute and a half, so I don't want to start the next game, but we can get it queued up. So the next one is Coconuts by Lockle. Let me shorten up that URL. While you were going to the finish line, a 30% slowdown occurred. The double jump distance was not enough. I fell down. You got ahead of me. That might have been me. I'm not sure if I'm the person who triggered that or not. I did try to trigger it towards the end. I thought you would have already been at the end, so that my plan might have worked. That was cool though. I honestly was not, I thought there was at least one person. I thought you were ahead of me, and I thought there might have been another person ahead of me because I had some pretty big falls in there too. I think some of the big falls towards the beginning, I was worried that would be like really bad, but it ended up being okay. So anyway, we're gonna pull up the next one, which is Cocoa Nuts. So that is in the chat. If you want to load in, we are going to take a quick ad break, and we'll play that game when we're back. Oh no! Coconuts is not published yet. So we should be able to play it through the Game Maker. So if we fire that up, let's get the Game Maker going. So some people publish their experiences to the map, not everybody. I don't know if that was a requirement. Maybe it was a requirement for doing the season thing, the post-season event. Make sure that they were already like published and ready to go. All right, so if we go into the Game Maker, we go to Start Playing tab, and let's go to All, and Coco NUTZ. There it is. We should be able to play multiplayer together with this. Welcome to Cocoa Nuts. This is a 3v3 team score-based race lasting 3 different rounds. Requires at least 2 players. Climb trees to knock down coconuts and then place them in team-colored baskets for points. Race through numbered hoops to collect all team-colored flags for 10 points. Reach and collect the golden coconut for 5 more points. The winner is the team with the highest score after all 3 rounds end. Good luck. Right, so I'm on Team Red. Jazzwolf is on Team Yellow. I think this is everything we just read. Yep. Are we like on a hot air balloon? We are on a hot air balloon. Bananas will speed you up. Round 1, knock coconuts out of trees. Collect coconuts in team basket. Round 2, race through hoops in order. Round 3, race to the golden coconut for a 5-point bonus. All right. Anybody else joining us? I'm guessing Red Lily Rose is probably going to try. With the double jump, we can jump into the balloon. Can we jump off the side? We jump so high? Like, that's more than a regular double jump, I think. How do we jump so high? We got extra oomph on the jump. Maybe it's just because our character's really short. That still feels really high. Red Lily Rose doesn't have Game Maker installed. Oh no. Yeah, you gotta install it and start figuring out how to do things, and then you can enter game jams and possibly win a land. There are different custom avatars for each player. This is great. Wait, where are you? Oh yeah, I didn't notice. Like, not we're a different color monkey. I'm a more red one. She's a more yellow one. That is one of the newer features, being able to assign different avatars for different teams. Alright, well, I guess it's just me and Jazzwolf duking it out. You ready, Jazzwolf? You can pull the lever whenever you want. Round start. Woo! Whee! It's a great start, too. Look at that. Alright, here's mine. I'm gonna go up the trees. I love that double jump. Oh, I fell too far. Okay, I got it. My coconuts. I guess the danger here is that I knocked all these down. Hopefully Jazzwolf doesn't grab them. Steal my coconuts. They're my coconuts. That laugh is always going to sound like Panda to me. The pace, the frantic action of this, I love it. Oh, there's another coconut. Oh, with the double jump too, and the flipping, it's so good. No more coconuts up here. Oh, is that? Yeah. No, I fell. Okay, where's the one I dropped? Jazzwolf, you got to put your coconuts in your thing. Aha. Aha. Yellow scored. Okay, so the messages are working well for saying when another team did something. Well, where'd it go? I knocked one down. Where'd it go? Where's my coconut? Well, I guess I'm going back up. I don't see the coconut I dropped. Oh, wait. Ah, it landed on a leaf. Oh. Where'd it go? Oh, round 2 started, that's why. Colored rings, I guess, are somewhere up here. I'm getting stuck. Nope. Climb up the tree. What? Why do I keep on sliding? I can't. I need to stop trying to climb that particular tree. That particular tree does not like me. There's one. There's two. There's two. Two's up there. Ooh. 2. Oh, it's a slide down. Oh, that's probably why I was falling before, because it's slippery. I was trying to land on leaves that were only good as a slide. Gotta jump over. 4. How many rings are there? 5. Is that all of them? Oh, there's a 6. How do you get to the top of that tree? Ah! No, I'm falling. How do I get up there? I see this path. Ah! Yeah! Yes! 6! Round 3! Get the golden coconut! Oh, that's right there. He's mine! Bam! Red scored! Red wins! That was fun. I'm sorry, Jazzwolf. I may have gone too hard. I'm used to playing against Panda, and you know what it's like playing against Panda. That was cool though. I really like how energetic these characters are. I hope Coconuts does well in the season event, post-season event. All right, let's see if the next one is open on the map, which is just because more people have the client installed. Next one is Jurassic Race by Team Zangduru. I don't see it. I have the direct link though. It looks like this one is also locked, so it looks like it's just you and me, Jazzwolf. We're gonna end this session. And go to Jurassic. Jurassic Race. Always 12 o'clock is the creator account name. Play Game for Fun said they expected others in the office and didn't take their laptop. Oh no. That's all right, Play Game for Fun. We'll get you next time. It's taking a little bit to load. Well, while we're waiting for that to load, I'm going to mention what events are going on right now in the sandbox. So there is the Playboy Ultimate Bunny Showdown, Ears versus Tails. Transform your avatar and win sand and NFTs. The more transformations, the greater the rewards. Which side will you choose? Adventure World land sale still going on until June 3rd. Singapore City Builder is going on. So this is, if you are new to game jams, the City Builder ones might be a good place to start for you, because the City Builders don't require you building a lot of mechanics. It's about building a space. So find a We've done the New York City one, we've done the Paris one. They were about creating locations and not necessarily quests or mechanics or figuring out multiplayer leaderboards and stuff like that. It was all about just building out what looks like an area and is fun to explore. Thank you, Jazzle, for sharing those links in the chat. So definitely check that out if you're interested in getting started with game jams, but maybe something a little less technical than building out the mechanics. And then if you are a land or avatar owner, make sure you check your claim page, because we've got bee and butterfly unlockable homes and equipment for you. Play Game for Fun says they're trying to take part with the Singapore City Builder Jam. Well, we look forward to seeing what you make. All right. Oh, this is the one with the Akira slide. Let's see. We got... Oh, they've got different stats. Defense 2, Speed 1, Speed 3. Do they make a boost while you're running around? Defense 2, 1 speed. Defense 2, Speed 2. Whoa. I feel like this guy, he's a little OP. But I suppose it may still not be as good as some of the other options. It's not Speed 3, it's not Defense 3. But I think I'm going to go for balanced. Oh. You ready, Jazz Wolf? Explorers Camp. Can I not climb this? It's not climbable, Jazz Wolf. What are we gonna do? I feel like this is leading me to this area, and I really want to. Oh, ow! It hurts! It hurts! Oh! Get out of the water! Whew. Can you? Oh, I thought I found some secret. You could have just gone the other way around. Wow. Look at the place I found, the secret place. Totally an exploit. I'm just like, no, I just lost a bunch of HP for no reason. Okay, so we got a coin. You need 10 coins to get the flying jetpack. Interesting. Can I jump up this? I don't know if I can make that. Nope. Ow. Uh-oh. No! I got stuck! That's what I get for... That's what I get for goofing around. Alright, yeah, that's fine. We're gonna follow the arrows this time. Whee! Oh, wait. Oh, so I did kind of skip an area. Oh, ow, oh. I didn't have a race timer till just now. Jazzwolf's been playing a race this whole time, and I was just goofing off. So I guess I wasn't supposed to do that. So again, make sure you lock up your starting areas. Because theoretically, going in the way that I did, I might have been able to get a 0 time on the leaderboard. Ooh. Oh, I can't go back. Get me out of the water. The dinosaur body is kind of messing with me though. By oh, I died. I can't really see my feet. The platforms are all nice and big, so it's not too bad, but I feel like Jazzwolf is way ahead of me. What did I get? I got, oh, bronze. Coin. Can't. Oh, I fell into the lava. It's fine. I'm fine. There's a lot of intentional clambering, like climbing up the sides of things, which is unusual. But I don't dislike it. It's just I'm not used to it. Let me equip it. Now I get the double jump. Where is it? There we go. Oh, wait. Well, I picked up the thing I already have. Wait, where are they? Okay, now I got it. I didn't... It looked like I picked it up, but then I didn't see it in my inventory. Oh, 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 no. This is a very button mashy part of the game. That? Oh, okay. Oh. Oh no! The bones are a little bit difficult to jump onto. The dinosaur doing flips around me. Oh, that's water. That's cold water. I thought it was gonna be like an ice surface that I wouldn't be able to fall into. Let me out! I feel like when a cat falls into a tub accidentally. They're just flailing. Whee! Nope. Oh no! Icy water! More icy water. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Okay, these go up and down. Huh. Okay. Oh, that's not so bad. I thought that jump was going to be way harder. It's a snake. Jetpack. So I feel like the inside of the snake should look like the inside of a snake instead of like the outside of a snake. I know that's a lot more texturing work, but just a thought. Whee! Victory! Oh, is that it? Jazzwolf, did it kick you out when you won? You did win, right? It still says you're in here, though. I feel like you were ahead of me this entire time. Nothing on the leaderboard. I keep getting stuck on the rotating ice block and have to respawn. Oh. Again, I keep on passing the who's in front of me and not seeing that they're not in front of me anymore. What? Heads up, you need to be the owner of this experience in order to open it. What did I thought I hit play again. Now what? I guess I have to restart the game maker. I want to see if it's possible for me to like win without having started the race by bypassing that area. Also, was it giving speed and health boosts or defense boosts? Like I didn't notice any power-ups activating. All right. Let's go with more defense. So, like, what if I was that a comment on this game about being able to bypass the start? Hey, Tamio, how's it going? Let's see. Jurassic. So I'm thinking that maybe maybe the judges didn't find what I found. I wonder if you can swim up this. You can swim up that. How badly can I break this game? I might need to not be wearing this in order to do it, just because I can't see my feet. I like fall right off the palm trees. Okay, so you can't leave that area. But what happens if we... open that. I run through here. So the race timer has not started yet. I jump up here. Oh, see, that's even easier without the dinosaur on. coins. I'm just wondering if I can get a 0 time on this. That'd be pretty funny. And I never used air dance. I probably was supposed to use it here, right? The part that I was struggling on. Oh, no, 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 no. I died. Where did, okay, it took me right back here. Got air dance. Oh. Nope, 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 nope. Get out. Jump right over the platform. That's fine. I don't know why I'm rushing. There's no timer. Yeah, I always forget about air dance too. Like, it's actually pretty useful in some specific spaces. But double jump is so intuitive for me that I always use double jump. Like, it's like I need to force myself to, like, oh, activate fly or remember that air dance exists. But double jump is just like, I'm always tapping jump anyway. Ooh, whoa! I'm falling in the lava. Get out of the lava. Now I got the double jump shoes. Actually, like, double jump is so intuitive that I feel like weak when I don't have it. When you get used to using double jump and then you like have to turn it off for some reason, or like, you know, air dance, you can't do double jump while air dancing. Like, I'd almost rather have the double jump. But air dance can let you get further distances, just not as high. Stop falling off the bone! There we go. That took way too long. Whoop. Ah, I missed my elevator. No! Ah! As much as I like the rotating things, the end over end like this is a little bit frustrating. I've seen it in other games, like going back to, like, I don't know, probably like Sega Genesis stuff, and I it's not my favorite. Oh no! I thought I was gonna be able to make it. There we go. Ooh. I'm not sure why there's so many ladders here, because there doesn't seem to be any difference between them. I would just go for the first one you reach. Timmy says air dance is nice. Yeah, I think it's really good for the parts where it works. I just don't like that it disables my double jump. Just a personal preference, because being able to double jump just feels so much more powerful to me than air dancing. So like I'd use air dance more if I could leave it on while double jumping. Ooh. I slid under the coin that I was supposed to get. Can you like skip the slide? Or I guess you want the coins that are inside, right? I'm just wondering if you could just follow the tail of the snake down. Like squeeze in through here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Eh. And go all over all the places you're not supposed to go. Oh, oh, oh. Uh-oh. I'm in the back rooms now. Oh, there's an invisible wall. Let's go all the way to the ceiling. It does. No. Is there any spot I can squeeze in there? Can't wait to try 0.12. There's some really exciting stuff in there. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. The adventure begins soon. What does that mean? And I can't get out of here! I mean, I did that to myself. I knew I wasn't supposed to go that way. Like, I've been the right way. Whee! Zero time. I don't know why the adventure begins soon. I think that wasn't there the whole time, was it? I didn't notice it before. So yeah, they gotta put an invisible blocker so that way you can't swim out into the level before the race starts. Just the things I intuitively like run to. All right, let's see if the next one is on the map. In fourth place, we had Treetop Trails. It says an error has occurred, so probably not published. Oh, wait. We don't want preview or hub. We want page. So I think the link is just wrong. Okay, yeah, so the link wasn't the correct one, but it's also not published. So let's go back to the hub. Or not the hub, the gallery. Treetop. Right, about 30 more minutes. If any one of you is streaming, I'd be happy to raid you. So this is Treetop Trails by Anna and Joyce, also in the Game Maker gallery. Meet Mr. Titan. This little guy? He's tiny. Hello, how are you doing? Are you ready to take part in the parkour race? Let's go. You can see the portal behind me. Try to join there. When you're doing the parkour on the way, you have different platforms and obstacles. Be careful. We provided you 100 smoke detonators. The smoke detonators can be used to distract the way for your opponent. We have attached double jump also and dancing gauntlets. Bones, collect at least 40 bones when you're doing the activity. They fenced me in. Oh. Oh. Aha. I broke it. Ooh. What? That is that what that note was about? Trying to slide under these things? Good. Let me go. What? I mean, you can jump over, yeah, but it's wild. Also, I would not leave big open gaps like this to the side. If I would put like either, you know, tree trunks or vines or bars or, you know, a giant dinosaur rib cage to look like bars or something like here, like this. There's a clear wall here, right? That all makes sense. But having it open, a little too big of a gap. What appears to be a gap there, it becomes confusing. Did I complete the bones quest? I think I did. Was there even a quest? Has it counted bones? I wasn't paying attention. How many do I have? 34? I don't have enough. I don't know how many I missed. We'll see how many I have by the end. Oh, I fell off real fast. Is it worth it to try to get that one? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that is strange, Jazzle. I don't know why I couldn't slide under that. It's like maybe there's a lag on the server where it's like, oh, good grief. It doesn't think that I actually slid. And it's saying, no, you need to be sliding to get under here. I wonder if I could crawl. What? Join the race here. Was I not supposed to? I wasn't supposed to follow that part. Can I jump right to that net? Crawl on the backside of it? Oh, invisible wall. There are invisible walls here. It just wasn't high enough for how high I can double jump. That's why I was able to get past that part. This part's easy with the air dance. How many ones I got? I got 46. I think they said I needed to collect 40, so that should be all I need. Oh, I didn't mean to jump off. I meant to air dance. Oh, I forgot to turn it back on. It turns off when you die, so you gotta turn it back on when you respawn. I pressed space too late. Ah, no! What? My timing is off on that last jump. Like, I'm listening for it, but... Oh! Ah. You're supposed to crawl across that net. Which I guess I'll do that. Ooh. Oh. Close recovery. That's why I like double jump. Double jump I can recover from... a lot of things I can recover from with the double jump. Air dance, if you don't step off the platform doing the air dance, then it doesn't help you at all. You have to be doing the dance before you start falling. Ooh. Ooh. What? Did it just yeet me? What was that? It feels like it pushed me out of the finish line. Maybe it's like, you cheated. That would actually be pretty funny. You get all the way to the end and it's like, no. No. Oh, there we go. Victory. And my time was... nothing. I didn't get a 0 on the leaderboard. That's my bad. Timio, I didn't see your question about enabling logic on custom assets. I'm not sure yet. There's still discussions on how exactly that's going to work. As far as putting it on custom assets and things like that. So I'm not sure. Don't know. But we did point out on a previous stream that if you don't like the style of the abilities assets and you want to hide them, if you set a custom character, not an avatar, so you do like an NPC but you change its node structure, or like you just break the template, it can't equip things anymore. It can't visually equip things anymore. You can still wear equipment and have the abilities from them, but you won't see them anymore. And so you can do custom things with that. However, if you do that, then you'll also lose attributes. So if you want to use like power, speed, and defense on the characters, then you won't be able to set those anymore. All right. That was Treetop Trails. Let's see what the next one is. Rotate Rush by Toby and Craft. Is this one published? This one is also not published. So let's go to gallery and search for Rotate Rush. And these are all multiplayer, so if any of you have the Game Maker installed and want to join me, you are more than welcome to. I like this music. I haven't heard this one before. with this arcade space, I kind of wish I could interact with the characters. What is that sparkle? I don't actually know how they did that. Can you see that? There's like a glitter. It doesn't look like Z fighting. There's just like this glittery glow to it. Alright. Oh, somebody joined me. Hey, Jazzwolf. Yeah, Jazzwolf, you see that? I think it's a VFX of something, but I'm not sure what they did. Is the glitter some sort of glitch? I mean, it could be. I'm going for all the stars. Ooh, almost fell. Oh. Oh, this part's tough. Oh no! I like how the music dynamically changes for this spot. Like, it makes that specific spot feel so much more stressful. Like, oh, you have the bad music now. Ooh, nice sound effect. That's nice. At the time when the sound effect needs to play just like a half second earlier. But good use of the VFX. That is very satisfying. It's a good crunch. Oh, I almost fell. Jazzwolf might beat me because I'm trying to get all these stars. Oh, no! Or if I fall. Stress. It's hard to jump with the rotating. Oh, I got all the stars I need. I don't need to keep doing that anymore. Whee! Wait, what? Was I not supposed to jump through that hole? I wasn't supposed to jump through the hole. I was supposed to... I didn't look at the direction the arrow was facing. I did a dumb... Oh, that kills you. Good to know. Whoop. Oh, no, it still got me. Oh, it double killed me. Whoa, I almost got hit by that one. Get up. Get up. Go. No, not down. Oh, I should have jumped more. The less time you spend in contact with the floor like that, the better. So instead of trying to run against it, it's better to jump. Oh, Jazz will be right there. Did I catch up to you right at the end, or were you waiting for me? We're like 1 second apart. Maybe you waited for me. After all the times I beat people without even realizing they were there. Oh man. That yawn came out of nowhere. You were waiting. Rude. That's risky. This is the first time that I've lost, basically. Were you? Wait. You weren't in the last one, were you? So aesthetically, because we talked a little bit about the aesthetics of this one being more Fall Guys and less retro arcadey, which the arcade machine and like even the music makes it feel like it should be more retro arcade like. There's a way that it could keep the same aesthetic. I need to stop yawning. Where is this coming from? I'm not even tired. I think it's the laughing and the talking. It's like I've been opening my mouth too wide and my brain's like, that means you yawn now. I was right behind you. Is the timer at the top? It says that I was 7, 6. My brain, 4, 3, 7. It says I'm 7 seconds behind you, but I felt like I was right behind you. So where's my mind? Where's my brain going with this? Oh, so if the graphics were done more like intentionally pixely, obviously like it's the Sandbox, so everything's like voxelized anyway, but it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to let you play it again. And now I have to quit the Game Maker. So if there's let's see. There's a specific level. I don't remember what it's called. Trying to find it. Is this it? Gamer ranks? Oh, that's the name of the website. Stay high is a 6v6 variant. I have given no context to what I'm talking about, so good luck following. Here we go. So there's a map in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 that is based on Shipment, which is a map that they've remixed, I don't know, like a dozen times. It's a very small map. It's basically like 4 boxes in the middle of the map with a square around them and some stuff around the edges, and it's very, very small. So the matches in them are always super chaotic. But this is one of the remixes that they did of it, and something like this, I think, kind of gets you in that between area between like Fall Guys and Retro Pixel, and even a little bit metaversey. By having like, so aesthetically they've got these old TVs and like VCR or gaming consoles, whatever. I'm not sure what those are on top of them. That kind of brings you back to that retro arcade feel by really emphasizing the block nature of the levels with these squares. That brings it back to pixel art, but you get to keep the more modern, vibrant Fall Guys kind of colors. And I think stylistically, this is kind of like a happy, like in between of those things. If you're going for a retro arcade aesthetic, with this sort of minimalist color palette, so it kind of like mixes the two worlds together. I think it does it pretty effectively. So this is something like this is what I would recommend. Obviously, that has no bearing on gameplay. Like the map is still fun to run around, but if you're just trying to make like a cohesive aesthetic, sometimes you can do your Cuban Asian cuisine or whatever, fusion. It's totally fine to do that, but just like I think something like that, the judges would have maybe aligned more on the art style. It reminds me that the metaverse blocks that look good on TSB but not so good for vids or stream. Yeah, it's you don't want to overuse the metaverse blocks. Like, it can be okay on stream if there's not too many of them, and it depends on the person's computer. So like I've done a lot of tweaking of my settings to try to get the bitrate to be better. I can upload way faster than Twitch and YouTube and stuff can handle. Like I could crank my bitrate up a lot more. But those platforms do have a cap on the bitrate. So you have to try to do things to compress the video stream before it goes up to Twitch. Because they do, once you hit a certain level, you start to get performance issues on the Twitch side of things, and it'll start to complain about it and be like, you're trying to send too much data to us, because it's trying to crunch it all live, and that's an intense process. It's amazing what we're able to do with the internet now and with computers now, but there's still limitations. Like I can upload and download at a gigabit, but Twitch will not take a gigabit from me. They will not do that. My upload rate is about 6,000 kilobits per second right now, or 6 megabits. I can do 1,000 megabits upload theoretically. So obviously that's a different it's not it's a limitation on the Twitch side. So those metaverse blocks, all those lines make it harder for an image file to compress. So the faster your camera's moving around across those metaverse lines, the more garbled it will look as it tries to like kind of JPEG compress it like really, really fast. And yeah, your video file is gonna not look as good. So I recommend not doing full levels in the metaverse style. Just do like little sections of it is okay. And also don't try to subdivide the metaverse style. Like doing just the edge of a block, that's fine. But I've seen some people do textures where it's like a grid pattern on the blocks, and like that, is just a nightmare for compression. It's like a high contrast, lots of lines, all of them moving all the time. It's the compression is rough. It's pretty amazing that we get all this for free. It is, yeah. Like that. I mean, it's not for free in a way. Like there's advertisements, obviously. That's how Twitch gets most of its revenues, through advertisements. That a lot of people will say, like, if the service is free, then the people are the price or something. I'm saying it wrong. But like sites like Facebook, Twitter, all those things, they get your data. If the site's for free, you are you're the product. I think that's what they say. Yes. Oh, Red Lily Rose just said in the chat, yeah, you're the product. Subs as well. Well, yeah. So yeah, Twitch gets money from the subs also. But I mean, when you think about it, like most people who stream on Twitch are not getting funding. Like they're not affiliates, so there's not really ads playing on their channels and stuff. So it's the majority of people interacting with the platform, it's free. But you're the product, so they get your analytics, they get data about you because it allows them to push ads more effectively to you. So it's it's free, but it's also there is a drawback, right? So back to 100K sandcastles. Ooh, what are you gonna do with 100K sandcastles? 62K sandcastles, but I spent a lot of my points. All right, is anybody streaming right now? I'd be happy to raid because it's just about 5 o'clock my time, and that means that I gotta go. Let's see who we can raid before this ad ironically rolls in. Gonna need Alex to stream for 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, so I can get more castles, please. I don't think so. I mean, I do enjoy streaming. I don't want to stream that much. Let's see. Twitch.tv/Sandbox Game. Who is online right now? Even while he sleeps. And people have done those sleep streams before, right? It's that those sometimes people get in trouble for those. It depends on, there's like very specific rules, I think. No, thank you. I'm good with just caffeine. No sandbox stream at this moment. Yeah, I'm looking around who else might be on like Web3 or crypto stuff. As far as the sandboxes channels that they follow, I actually can't. I'm logged into my own Twitch right now, so I can't actually see who the sandboxes thing follows. But nobody else that I follow is streaming either. Let's see. I see Lou's streaming. We rated them last time though. I like to mix it up. So let's see. This channel says Solana airdrop. That sounds sketchy. I don't know. I don't know that I'm comfortable rating that without it if it's somebody that I don't know. 24 Slevin? What? Is that a user? I mean, technically our giveaways are airdrops also. Like I send them directly to people, but I don't know, our community knows that. And we've done it for 5 years now, so what's 24 Slevin playing? South of Midnight? I've not heard of this before. Is that who you want to raid? Play a game for fun? I'm fine with rating them. To raid 24/11. All right, does note that this is for mature audiences. They're playing South of Midnight. All right, go have fun, and I will see you on, well, I might do a stream Monday. Because it's the holiday. And I want to make sure that the Twitch channel points thing that I do on my channel doesn't expire because it's like for 7 days. So I might do one Monday. We'll see. All right. Catch y'all later. Have a great weekend. Eat lots of hot dogs.